Edward R. Subject is TripleMania makes the GQ sports bucket list. Interesting. Hey K100 Click, thanks as always for taking the letter and keeping up the great work. Angry Billy Body is good for business. Conan checking him is even better, and you aren't losing a single listener despite what the marks say when they write in. And yeah, actually, Joe, what our numbers have been fine, right?
Yeah, we've been going up for months, and in the last month right now, we're up 6% from the previous month. So,
And people keep saying that we have turned these throw. Let me tell you something too. It's funny, and then people don't realize this. You know, like the conversation we had with Billy last week, we were all arguing. Bro, that's got a lot of views on YouTube and a lot of comments. Okay, because
Right.
people like it when we just, bro, I'm telling you, if you don't like what Billy Body says, that's fine. But this is not an echo chamber like these other shows where everybody just agrees and
Right.
they agree with everything.
Right. And here's the funny part: we
So
actually argue,
right,
and it doesn't affect our relationship.
right. The new Lucha segment is great. Thankfully, it's another segment where Disco has little to say or interrupt.
What?
I'm gonna suspend this guy, Edward R, for
Edward
a week
R.
for that. Yeah, and this month's issue of GQ, Triple Mania made GQ's list of top 18 best live sporting events in the world. I was glad to see it because I know how hard Conan has worked on the events for 2023. I thought making the list was a great honor. Here's a link in the text about WrestleMania. Basically, they say Mexico City. What is it? Triple Mania is it Mexico's answer to WrestleMania, the biggest and baddest annual showcase of lucha libre, the wildest and most high-flying form of pro wrestling. What's the vibe? The operatic flair of a telenovela with holy of live gymnastics. Expect at least one luchador to get his mask dramatically torn off. And optimize your experience by copying your own mask and bootleg tee for one of the dozens of stands outside the arena beforehand. Is there a lot of merch sold outside the arena
Yes.
before these shows? Tons?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
football
And this
games, right?
this
Yeah.
list, just so you know, Conan, see what Triple Mania is being compared to: the Masters, Wimbledon, Ole Miss versus LSU football.
Who wrote
Uh,
this?
it's GQ Sports. The
That's pretty sweet.
NHL Winter Classic, the Drew League, Tour de
That's
France. Like I said, yeah, it's
that's
a lot,
very cool.
a
I
lot of
didn't
cool
know
stuff.
about this. That's very
Yeah.
cool.
I'll
Thank
send
you.
it.
Does
I'll
it
send
say
it to you
does
guys.
it have Formula One in there?
Formula One's got to be in there, bro.
It
That's
has to
hot
be.
right now.
It's super hot.
We're actually
bro.
we're actually gonna do. Did you see that thing on Netflix? The Formula One. What was it called? The Dream.
No, I didn't watch it. I'm gonna get into it
It
because
was
it's coming in November.
incredible,
So yeah.
bro. It was incredible, and it actually helped the popularity of Formula One. They're gonna do that for AAA Lucha Libre.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is how. So like I think I mentioned on the show last week, they said that the Super Bowl brought in $600 million. Formula One's supposed to bring in 1.3 billion
Yeah.
to the city, and it's crazy. I've already looked. The hotel prices are already like 10 times higher for that weekend than like what they usually are. It's unbelievable.
I don't really. I don't.
Let
I
me
don't.
finish the rest of this. Let me
Yeah.
finish the rest of this guy's email. So my question to you: what 2 or 3 events would make your best live sporting events list, especially a couple you've never attended? I've been to Michigan versus Ohio State 4 or 5 times since I grew up in Ann Arbor, and I've went to WrestleMania 23, and both would make my list. Dream events would be Wimbledon, the Masters, and the Kentucky Derby. I'd love to hear a sports bucket list, and thanks as always. Keep up the good work. Great work, actually. P.S. The growing epidemic of people inhaling nitrous and aerial fumes to get high is a real tragedy. If someone huffs air fresher to get high, would it be safe to say they're addicted to the Glade? That's
Okay.
Edward from Seattle. Well, that's a suspension. We
Okay,
already
You had
suspended him.
suspended him
I
for
didn't-
how
Double
long?
I already
suspension.
suspended him.
That's
For
got
how
to be
long?
2 weeks, right?
Well, 2 weeks now for double
Make it a month.
violation.
Make
Double
it a
mile.
month.
Oh,
Make it a
Just-
month,
oh,
please,
yeah.
Joe. Make it
And
a month.
the
Because he
email was
ended
putting
it
you
trying to
over.
be. Yeah,
Yeah.
but still, he tried to be funny and then he messed it up.
Okay,
You know?
here's my bucket list. I want to go see a New York Rangers playoff game. I've already seen Georgia Auburn. I've already seen World Series, Braves in the World Series. I've already seen I would like to go see the Super Bowl. I haven't been to the Super Bowl. I would like to go to
Never.
the Super Bowl. And I would like to go see an English Premier League game eventually at some
Yeah.
point.
I've
You know?
never. I've been to like 4 Super Bowls.
I would like to go see like a Champions League final. That would
Yeah.
be a good. That'd be an
Yeah.
awesome event to go see. Yeah.
Right. Great. Great.
Right.
These places I'm gonna say I'd like to go with Disco. I'd like to go to a World Cup final.
Right.
Right. Especially if Mexico or Italy or United States are in it.
Mm-hmm.
Or Brazil. I love Brazilian soccer. Was the other one? I've been to UFC. I'd love to go to an NBA championship game that the Celtics are in.
mhm.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
And I'd love to go to an NHL Stanley Cup final with the Bruins.
I haven't been I went to a Vegas Knights playoff game. I did not go to the final though. I'd love to go to a final. So.
Right. Yeah. If the
Again,
Phillies,
they're number one in the West. I would definitely that could be my bucket list. Might be contributing to my bucket list this year if the Knights keep playing this good. So.
yeah, if the Phillies go far again this coming season, I'd love to be in that environment at Citizens Bank Park. I'd like to see the Eagles play in Dallas because I want to see the stadium anyway. And
Right.
this doesn't count as sports, but I want to see WWE at Madison Square Garden at some point. I never have, So
Yeah. So next is Power Requires Hustle from subject Kevin Owens.
King Cold.
Oh, there's King Cold. Oh, yeah, it is King Cold. Yeah. Hey, what's up, King Cold? King Cold puts us over on Twitter a lot.
Friend of the show.
And in the past, I've had some negative things about Kevin Owens, but the last few years, Kevin has been absolutely killing it. The KO show segments, WrestleMania with Steve Austin, the Bloodlight storyline have all made him a standout star. I've also checked out Kevin's indie matches, and there are a lot of fantastic matches in his catalog. Also, seeing Kevin doing backflips is extremely impressive. So my question for you is there any wrestler you were just not a fan of that changed your opinion about them over time? Can you share some examples? Thanks, King Cold. Three of them in WWE right now: Sami, Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins. I was not big on those guys. Like I didn't like the way they work, and they just hit a niche, and everything flipped for them. In my opinion, the way I was perceiving them, everything flipped. Like the way they work, the way their characters. So when Sami started doing the neurotic guy, where he was basically an extension of himself, that's when he changed.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens, like he's just been in a lot of good angles. His angle with Jericho, his angle with Austin, his angle with Sami. Everything he's been in, he's been doing very well. Like for a while. So.
Because he can do comedy and he can do serious.
Right.
Okay, so I was trying to think mine. I just got him, but I will say this, and I can see where the KO thing came. Because if you remember, there was a while where he was doing these dumb skits where he kind of looked like he was a
bowling alley, like a bowler or something.
Like a designated, right? Like he was a designated driver on bowling days. Like he's the guy that picked everybody up and bought the pizza,
right?
Dropped you off at home. The nice guy that had no life, right?
Right.
And it was very weird because they showed him bowling. Remember, trying to be like a regular guy, and I was like, I didn't like that. But I'll tell you three guys that got really better that I was not feeling. One of them who actually called me out in Nashville, Tennessee, when I walked with Elias, Sheamus. I did not like his style before, and now I love it.
Right.
I was not a big fan of Montez Ford and Dawkins because they're very silly and hokey and cheesy.
All WWE guys have changed my opinion. The AEW guys have not changed anything that I've been critical of. And if they start maybe changing some of the things that I don't like, it's like, maybe they'll get over with me. But it's like, like I said, like Ricochet was another one. That I kind of like, I was watching. He's just always this high flyer, does nonsense. But then I was like, look at the way this guy sells, and he throws good punches. It's like,
bro. And here's the scary thing about Ricochet. Believe me when I tell you this, because I was around him long enough in Lucha Underground to know. They're not even letting him do half of the he knows how to do, bro. He's ridiculously talented.
Well, because they require high risk of injury. And I don't think these guys want these guys getting hurt because you're off TV or they're paying you, so.
There's still a lot of stuff they should let him do that isn't a high risk of injury, but they've really toned him down. But it is what it is.